Hello and welcome to Goldcrest podcast, where we explore the trends, opportunities, and stories shaping the Portuguese real estate market, from coastal properties to rural estates and everything in between. Portugal is a country deeply shaped by its wine culture, with wine production dating back as far as 2000 BC. For centuries, vines have stretched across rolling hillsides, with the climate just right for creating some of the most sought-after wines. From deep-bodied reds of the Douro to the fruited tones of the Alentejo wines, each region in Portugal offers something slightly different. This heritage is opening new opportunities for international buyers. Many investors are choosing to purchase vineyards and vineyard-linked real estate, combining lifestyle with a long-term and tangible asset. So today, we are thrilled to be joined by José Cunhal Sendim, CEO of Land Vineyards, an exclusive wine retreat set in the heart of the Alentejo. Land has created a unique concept that blends luxury hospitality with residential vineyard ownership. Basically, owners can have their own vineyard, produce their own wine each year using the resort cellar, and are invited to regular wine events such as the annual harvest party. Thank you very much for joining us today, José.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Really nice to have you here. So we will talk about wines in Portugal. We will talk about Land Vineyards. But I think first I'd like you to give us an overview of Land Vineyards and how it is, what it is, and how it came about.
So, Land Vineyards, it's a family project, and my family is from the region, from Alentejo, since a long time. And we essentially developed our own estate, our own property. Our tradition was to not hospitality, was or real estate, was forestry and cattle production. And we wanted to create something that could make sense in terms of value, not only economic but social value and environmental value for the region. So Land started almost 20 years ago, in 2007, and we tried to create something that could be different from what was happening at the time in the real estate and hospitality market. So we essentially, I like a lot architecture, so I think it could be interesting to create a different product based with a concept of architecture that could be related with the region's identity, but would also transmute a sense of modernity and beauty. So architecture is one of the pillars of the project. And then we didn't want golf, because golf was already one of what's in the major trend at the time was golf resorts. So we tried to do something that was not related to golf. My family already produced wine, so we thought that wine could be an interesting factor to create a new kind of resort that could have vineyards, a small hotel that could give services, a small boutique hotel, and a good architectural project for the residents. Essentially, that's the vision behind Land Vineyards. Yeah.
Sure. So in hindsight, you had the real estate expertise in the past.
Family? No. I have some expertise in a small real estate project. I was not a developer. No, we had a small real estate project but nothing substantial. I was a law teacher before.
Oh wow!
So
I
changed my life to the Land Vineyards. Yes,
sure.
I didn't have neither me nor no one in my family had the experience of doing this kind of project. Yes.
And how do you find it? Do you find it really challenging to overcome, the usual hurdles of real estate, vineyard? What element was more difficult to overcome?
For us specifically was the crisis, because Land Vineyards was The hotel opened in 2011, so it couldn't have been a better time. We were very seriously hit by the financial crisis of 2011, and it was a very, very hard time. But we managed to survive and to keep the project in our family. And it was very difficult, but now we are very proud to have surpassed that phase and being well and being creating value also for the investors and for the owners.
That's very good to hear. Well done to you and your family. Yeah, 2011 must have been a really tough moment to start a business, and but what we see today is a beautiful, solid project in the heart of Alentejo. So now moving on the wine subject, like to ask you. Portuguese wines, they have become loved worldwide, yeah? And from your perspective, how important is wine in shaping Portugal culture and international presence?
Wine has been an essential part of Portugal culture for a long time. As you mentioned, we had wine production before the Romans, and it's in Alentejo was a very known wine region. Then we had that killed a lot of vineyards, and then it took a while to recover that tradition. But we have very strong and interesting traditions of wine producing in the region. For instance, wine produced in clay, these clay pots. So specifically, Alentejo has it's a very strong and very differentiated wine region because of its climate, because of its long traditions of producing wine, because of its types of vines. Portugal in general, it's a wine country. We don't have the scale of France or of Italy, but we have more diversity. We have much more types of grapes. We have hundreds
Over 200, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
so our wines are normally blends. We don't have wines like monovarietal wines like a Chardonnay or Sauvignon. It's not normal. What Portuguese wine can be fantastic is because we combine several grape varieties to create a unique and different wine. We don't have the scale of the other wine regions in Europe, but we have a long tradition of producing wine, yes.
Yeah.
Very known, started with a port wine because of the trade with the British in the 18th century, but it's not only port wine, so we have a lot of...
So wine is firmly ingrained in Portuguese culture, but in a different way to what it represents to France or Italy. It is important in shaping the reputation of the country, but it's also part of its daily life, and it's a very specific and particular regional style of winemaking. Okay, so let's move on then. I want to ask you, because we often hear that vineyards are both a lifestyle and an investment, right? And what drives international buyers most? I know it's not, from your perspective, you're not an international buyer, so let's think of a wine buyer. What drives the buyers? Is the passion for wine and culture, or the potential for long-term returns, or both?
In the specific case of land, I think essentially is the ability to make your own wine and have your own vineyard. So you can buy an estate and plant a vineyard, but this will be more difficult. What we offer is the possibility of having a vineyard of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square meters. If you want to take care of your own vineyard, you can. But if you don't want, we can manage the vineyard for the buyer. We have only organic vines. And then we have the winery, and he can really make his own wine each year. He can pick up the grapes. He can choose the type of ferment that he wants to use, and control the wine making process. We have designed it for them to based on a brief to create a label that the owners like. And that's it. Vineyards per se are not the investment, are not an investment in per se. So if you do the math and see how much it's less expensive of course, your wine will be a little bit less expensive than buying a good wine, but it's not the reason. So I think essentially is the possibility of playing with wine, of making your own wine, trying different types of blends, different techniques, choosing your barrel, choosing your label, offering your wine to friends. Essentially, that's it.
That's very good. I particularly think that the opportunity that land offers to people who always dreamed of having their own wine, but could not fathom the legal aspects and even the daily laborious journey of making your own wine. Been reading a story of winemakers that left Ireland to set up their own chateau in France. They were barely house gardeners, and everything they've gone through is it's insane, the amount of work. But if you still want to have, this experience of winemaking, starting the way you offer to the investor is fantastic, because you have the property there, you have the know-how, you have the specialists. You have even people that can help you with the label, to design it. So I think it's a great way to play with something that is very important to a lot of dreamers and people that appreciate wine.
Yes, thank you. I think.
Good. So let's move on. I want to talk about regions now. We know the Douro region tends to be the most popular one when we're talking about wine regions of Portugal. But Alentejo is also a very well-known wine region. So, and you're based in Alentejo. So I want to ask you, why do you think this region now stands out as one of the most exciting areas for wine investment?
Well, because it's my region.
That's a good answer.
I think Alentejo, it's truly magnificent. It's a very wide area, so it's the size of Belgium. It's like the region after Tagus, so after the river, until the Algarve. So it's a very large area. And essentially, Alentejo had no industrialization or urbanization in the last 2 centuries. So it's still a pristine region. It's still wild. Mm-hmm. It still has its own beauty, not touched by industry or by unplanned urbanization. So, and if you travel in Alentejo, you can feel that. So, and has also the coast. It's one of the few regions in Europe that can combine a beautiful interior landscape with an Atlantic coast, which is also fantastic. And as you have a natural park from Sines to Sagres, you have fantastic beaches. So it's the best of 2 worlds. You have the coast and you have the interior. And you have, of course, you are close to Lisbon, so you are close. The new airport, it will be even closer, and it's still preserved area. We say, go to Alentejo, take a walk on the wild side of Europe. It's still a wild side of Europe, and it's very close to the center of Europe. So, in terms of wine investment, I think it's a region. I'm not only wine but also property. It's if you look at it's a region that still has no it's starting to have some attention from foreign investors, because it's very easy to live here. So it's you have because of the reasons I mentioned, you have good infrastructure, good fantastic climate, mild, even the winters are mild, and the prices are still inferior if you compare to the regions of Lisbon, Porto, or around. And I think this is will in the next years will the tendencies to increase a little bit. You have Comporta, that's now a major trend, but where the prices are very high. So what happened in other regions, for instance, the south of France, is that when you have a coastal area, like for instance in the south of France, you started there with and then it spreads slowly to the interior as a region that could be interesting for living, etc. Like just happened some decades ago with the Provence. So I really think that Alentejo, in a medium to long term, it's a good investment also because of this.
Definitely. I think you answered my question, because you're a bit suspect, because I was going to ask what are the best locations for investment, but since you are based in Alentejo and you are from Alentejo, Alentejo will always come first. But let's think of someone that wants to invest in wine and a property as well, and would like an element of hospitality, perhaps. Do you still think Alentejo would be the best option? Are there
Globally or in Portugal?
In Portugal.
I sincerely think so, because of the reasons I mentioned. Because Douro could be an option too, but it's more difficult to find small estates in Douro, or the properties, and the distance to the center. It's higher, because there are no near Óbidos, of course, could be also. You have other on the coast, the west coast. You can have other nice options. There are a lot of options. I think Alentejo, I think it's interesting because of the reasons I said. It's a very big area, but still preserved.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit. I wouldn't say Tuscany, because but like Puglia, for instance, that now it's in a trend. So it's a region that will. I'm firmly convinced that will becoming more and more known for tourism and for residents abroad, because of that. Because it's very beautiful. You can go to the beach and you can live in the countryside. You have a fantastic climate. You have the landscape changes during the year. So you have summers with a golden plain. Then you have springs. Everything is green again. You have mild winters, and you have a fantastic quality of life. So what more can you ask? It's a great place to live. Yeah.
Okay. So you sold me. I'll invest in Alentejo then. So then finally, José, to wrap things up, what advice would you give someone considering buying a vineyard in Portugal? Perhaps someone that's just starting out, someone that's thinking about the move, how they can approach getting started in the wine world in Portugal.
So depends on what this potential buyer wants. So you can buy an estate with already planted vineyard. It's one option. You have some. Normally these are large. In Alentejo, the property is large because it's traditional, an area of large properties. If you go to the north, you have smaller properties. You could buy a small property in the north and the center. So this could be an option. Another option could be to buy some land and then to contract someone specialized and design your own vineyard. There are several Portuguese and non-Portuguese that do that. They did that, and they were successful. This could make sense if you want to have a small wine business. I mean, to produce your own wine, to sell, even in a small quantity. This is what we should do. If you want to just to play a bit with wine culture, you could
Go to land.
go to land, of course, or and see what other options are in the market. We don't. I don't think in Portugal you have some projects like land in Italy and in Spain, but I don't know any other projects in Portugal. But in Italy and Spain you have.
I was meant to ask you that. I'm really sorry I forgot, but we still in the podcast, so I can still ask you. Were you the pioneer in this model of real estate and winemaking?
No, I don't know if I was the pioneer or not. I know that there are sometimes this happens in trends. So I know that there are several. There are not a lot of projects, but there are several projects that combine hospitality and winemaking, and real estate and winemaking and hospitality. There's one in Mendoza in Argentina, which has a fantastic hotel. And there are some in Spain and Italy. And there was one in Mallorca, in Spain, of course.
Okay.
There was a piece in the Financial Times a couple of years ago about this, and there's another piece in the Wall Street Journal about this, featuring lands, and another project in Italy, another project in Spain.
I am really glad you are the one running this project here in Portugal, in the beautiful region of Alentejo, which I'm always glad to visit. It's so beautiful.
You are welcome.
It's so perfect. It's got mountains, it's got greenery, it's got beaches, it's got everything.
Perfect. Nothing is perfect, but
But Alentejo is.
Okay.
Okay, José, really, really great to have
My
you here.
pleasure. It's fantastic to talk to share some ideas with you and the listeners of the program. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I am the one thanking you now, and I've personally learned a lot more about the wine landscape in Portugal, and I'd like to speak to our viewers as well, and listeners. If you are seriously considering buying a vineyard or wine-related property in Portugal, it can be a smart move, both financially and from a lifestyle perspective. But the buying process can be daunting. And at Goldcrest, we've got years of experience in the market, matching clients from around the world with their dream property in Portugal, and also working with specialists such as José Sendim from Land Vineyards. If you're ready to begin your journey, get in touch with us today. And you can also find out more information about Land Vineyards in the caption below. Thank you.